Hi and welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel True Divine 44, or you can catch my YouTube channel and videos on my Facebook page True Divine 44. Like, share, subscribe and comments on either or both of those platforms is greatly appreciated. So this is part of the free content that I put out via tarot. It's the daily invitation for the energies of the day. Picking up on the energies, I play around with them a bit, and then I back that up with tarot to buff out the story to bring to you. It's always your job to be discerning as to what hits you here, not to think on things that don't belong to you in order to manifest them to you, things that you didn't have to deal with in the first place. So anything that doesn't truly resonate with you, just let it go. It's a general reading. It's not going to hit home with every single person. So the first card for the 21st of May 2020 is this Temperance card. It calls for, it's a major arcana. It calls for being the number 14, rounded up to the 5. It's the hump day, the change, the time when you're probably going to be most tested as to whether you can stay balanced and have some self-control. It does speak of healing and freedom from addictions. Now for me, addictions can be anything. Addictions to believing in illusions, always wanting to put your head in the sand, substances, alcohol, sex, whatever it may be. It gives you freedom from that, because when you're in a balanced state, you're not going to seek out the extreme of anything. You're going to be able to look at things in a balanced way and dip in at either side, but never tipping into the point of extreme. Of addiction is an extreme. It's a can't live without, rather than use once or twice, do once or twice, leave it. It's a can't live without. It's in a drive to get to it. So that's an unbalanced place to be. It does speak of the ability to, it's the mixing the water with the wine, see how these two channels of fluid from these jugs are crossing over there, and that is the ultimate alchemist, being able to change one substance, one energy, and mix it with your intent, your waters, your emotions, and bring it into something that is balanced, something that can keep you in the middle, keep you in a place of not being able to be controlled. When we dip into either side of the extreme, the right, the left, all of the politics, the way things are set up in this construct, everything is built to draw you to one side or the other, in order to divide you, in order to make you one-sided, tunnel visioned, not being able to see the perspectives of the other side, and worse still, not being able to see the middle ground where people can mix together, just like the water in the wine. People can mix together with differences, but have core values of not hurting others, not taking that is not yours, whether that's energetically, physically, emotionally, not being divided by differences, but mixing those differences, taking the best and leaving what doesn't, just like readings, taking what resonates with you from somebody and leaving the rest behind. Let it resonate for somebody else from them. But we don't have to take everything on board, but we're trained and conditioned to I think we've got to absorb everything, and to be honest, we've become too laxy-daisy with the absorption of everything, whether that's from people that we live with, friends. We absorb their emotions, we absorb their viewpoints, we absorb everything, rather than being discerning and having this filter up that we should have to question, is this going to bring me into an unbalanced state? Is this going to bring me to the right or to the left? Is this going to bring me in defense of that one and not that one? Constantly being discerning and having this filter of the Temperance card to know what to absorb and what not to absorb, and to be wise enough to know your capacity, because the energy of this Temperance card knows fine well it can mix water into wine, negative into positive, but it has the wisdom to know. This energy in a person would have the wisdom to know what their strength levels are regarding certain issues, certain substances. So they're wise enough to either just avoid, or wise enough to know at what measure they can take it before it starts to consume them, before they start to absorb it. So there's this calling upon people today to not just look at the surface level of where they are drawn to the right or to the left, where they are drawn, where they're torn from their balanced state. So we end up with parts of us in all of these different sections, in all of these little different pigeonholes, and there becomes very little of us left in the middle in the balanced state. So it's to ask us to retrain ourselves in this moment of truth, where we see that all systems, all conditioning has been set up in a certain way to, one way or the other, divide us, to extract from us, so that there's only a slither, if we're lucky, in the middle, in the balanced state. It makes it much easier to control. It makes it much easier to have these divided sections. The main thing is that we start opposing each other. So we're just busy fighting about 3D things that actually would not exist, divides that would not exist if it wasn't for the way things have been set up for a long time to cater for the few. And so we bring that down into our individual lives, and we see in our individual lives we're in relationships that we're not happy in, we're in relationships that we're not whole in. We put up with friends that really disrupt our energy field, that really drain from us. We put up with business partners who would steal from us because we're just frightened of losing yet another slither of ourselves. We're frightened of knowing that we are our island, we are our middle ground. So no matter what decisions we make to extract ourselves from these different parts that we've been put in our lives, these different roles, the way other people see us, all of these other things that we're dealing with, to be brave enough to shed that away, let that go, and really find out what is our balanced state, what are our acceptable levels of each thing in our life that we can take and still manage to transmute it into something positive, for it to come around into something positive. If we were to do that, the right people would be around us, because we would only be attracting the right people. You know, we wouldn't feel the need to seek out drama and partners that bring things up in us that we need to learn, that we're sort of asking to learn in a way. But instead we are much more at peace with being able to self-reflect without, say, attracting an extra controlling partner, in whatever sense of the word, because we ultimately, inside our balanced state, knows that we need to transmute that lesson. We need to break through that glass ceiling of being controlled and divided and brought to one side or the other. It's the ability to be our own person truly, and we can only be our own person truly when we are in our balanced state, and we are able to be honest about all aspects of self, to be able to discern what to absorb, and not just be in the moment of every moment thinking we have to and should absorb it all. Some of it we're allowed to filter out. So the second card is the Three of Swords, the painful card. You know, it's the wounded heart, it's the knives in the heart, it's the words, it's the hurtful words, it's the disrespect, it's the cheating, it's the anything that really gets you, where you literally can feel a pain in your heart. This speaks to, for me today, of a lot of people coming into the realization that They have given away too much of themselves to certain aspects of, in certain aspects of their life, to other people. And it's wounding. It's wounding because they lived through other people. They have lived through other people. We have lived through other people by not being brave enough to have our own knowing, our own self-control, our own filter, taking responsibility for our own lives, taking responsibility for our own self and what we will attract in, what we will accept. And so it hurts more because we see that there's this lack of control. Because we've given away so much of ourselves, there's this lack of control now. So then there's this, where there's this parting, maybe of a partner, maybe of even politics, you know, this parting of your devotion to this political team, because you've seen something, you've realized that you've given away your power, and actually that person never had the right and never should have had that power. And maybe they didn't even ask for it. Maybe it was something, like I said, subconsciously that you attracted in because you realized that you needed to break through that glass ceiling of having a certain kind of control over you. And so it is this ripping away at the heart that is the reckoning of which way do you go now? Because you could wrap yourself up in this and continue in a spiral of maybe arguing with yourself, arguing with whoever has put that tear in your heart, in your perception. Or you can lift yourself up out of this and make this the switch on, the light bulb moment of, I need to get back to my center. I need to find me. I need to find what I am seeking truly, not what I have been conditioned to think I should seek. Because everything now is to be rewritten. And it's up to you to choose whether you're going to be up here taking on your sovereignty and your divinity, or whether you're going to be down here being controlled even further, being even less of self, having less of that slither of self in the balanced, knowing, self-controlled state, self-healing state. So there's two ways you can choose to heal thyself, or still reach out and still try and stay in the same position that you have done, however that resonates with you, and hope and pray the very person or the very thing that has put these swords in your heart, in your perception, come good, that they become the savior somehow they change their mind, somehow they stop feeling the way they're feeling, or somehow they stop with their thirst for power and control. So to lift yourself up out of that and become in the balanced state is the true power today, to really take back wherever you find yourself leaking today, whether it's that you're stressing over a certain headline, whether that you're stressing over a certain speech that a politician made, whether that you're stressing over certain relationships that you're in that aren't feeding your soul right now. However that may resonate with you, whatever kind of relationship it is, this is the rewrite. This is where you decide whether you're going to follow your destiny, whether you're going to follow the life path that you are truly able to attain, whether you're going to continue this cycle until your dying day, or whether you're going to lift yourself up and maybe just seek out a different reality, a different place and way of being in this balanced state, and to experience the true relationships that will be attracted around you when you are in that middle ground, when you are in that balanced state, that self-healing, self-transmuting of energy state. The third card being the Six of Coins, which has kept coming up throughout the whole of this, the thing that shall not be named, feardemic. I could say so much, but this card's been coming up continuously. It's the community card, it's the reciprocity card, it's the giving and receiving gratefully card. And for me, this is just very simple, as the message that I'm getting through is to, you get what you give, but you also get what you give dependent upon who or whom you're giving it to. In that we have just as much responsibility to be discerning regarding where we give our energy to, where we give our fruits to. These are pentacles, these are material. Where we put our support in, where we put our hard work in, our earned things in, where we give of self to. Because the pentacles are the manifestation of thought, of feelings, blood, sweat and tears often. They're the manifestation of hard work, nevertheless. They're the coins, they're the things that will sustain you in the 3D. It's the nature, it's the things you can feel, touch and see. And taking it to a deeper level, we're here in these bodies, in such a magical state, where our expansive souls can be either whole here or even fragmented here in this body to experience, and our spirits to experience this physical matter. What it feels like, the tingle when you touch somebody you're in love with. What it feels like to lay on the ground and feel the rays of sunshine heating you up. What it feels like to work so hard and then attain something that is going to free you up in some way, that is going to improve your life in some way. That thrill and exhilaration of providing for those that you love. But if we're not, so it's important. The material doesn't get enough credit for how important it is, for how much it means. But if we're feeding all of that, the thought, the feelings, the hard work, if we think about where we're putting that, what are we doing to ourselves? What are we saying about ourselves when we continuously choose to put those things in the wrong hands? When we continuously choose to give all of that effort away? What kind of spell is that we're casting when we say we've done it this long this way, then we have to continue? Or the government says this is a good thing to put your money into, this is a good charity. Or you've been conditioned to stay in a role in your relationship so that you stay in that role regardless of how ever-changing the environment is around you. That's a powerful spell. And if we're not doing it in the correct way, if we're not doing it in an intentful way, if we're not doing it in a balanced way, then to me that is a powerful spell cast to say, this is my value. All of that hard work, all of that process of bringing, maybe if you're making a product of thought, of imagination, and then feelings, and then nights up at night, so tiredness, and then that heartbeat of when something starts to work, something starts to click with this project, and then putting everything you've got into making it manifest into a physical thing. And then that hope of, I hope this works, I hope this takes off. All of that energy is powerful. And then you get this, but what do we do with the pentacles? All of that energy is in those pentacles. All of that hard work, blood, sweat and tears is in that pentacle. That's a lot of intent. But then if we don't follow through that spell, if we don't follow through with that equation by placing our hard work, blood, sweat and tears, these pentacles, into the right hands, because of reasons from our balanced state that we see are right, then that is a very powerful spell to be showing your worth. to whoever you're giving these pentacles to whoever you're giving your time to. So on the bottom of the deck is this fiery queen underpinning the whole reading. This is the sensual, passionate, open queen. She's magnetic, but she's wise. She's very wise, and she's happy, and she puts a lot of energy and puts a lot of importance on happiness. So when in the game did you start to feel unhappy? Have you ever truly felt happy? Have you ever truly been you? Not what anybody else says you are, not what anyone else expects you to be. Who are you? What makes you happy? What are you putting your energy into? Does that make you happy? Does it make you whole? Does it bring you into this balanced state with all of these powers to self-heal and transmute any energy that's thrown at you, to know thyself so well that you know when to avoid things and when to dive right in? Think about who you are and what makes you happy, and block out all of the rest. This is a rewrite. This is an important time, an exciting time that we're living in, that we can rewrite and reconstruct ourselves in our middle ground, balanced ground, in a way like no other time that we've known of. This is the time when it's the pivotal moment. What are you going to do? Are you going to live for you? Are you going to attain for you and have the right people be attracted around you, because this is the magnetic fiery queen, goes for what she's passionate about? Or are you going to continue on the hamster wheel and hope that the hand above keeps feeding you and giving you some kind of hope to keep pedaling on the wheel? So that's the 21st of May 2020. I hope that all made sense. I hope it resonates with the right ears and the right hearts, and I hope to see everybody who it does resonate with fly way, way above any wounds that have been brought about through unnecessary means, through us just being complacent and giving away too much of self in order to allow these swords to be put in the first place. That's enough. So that's the 21st of May 2020. If you would like a private reading with me, get in touch with any of the details above or below. You can contact me on Facebook Messenger at TrueDivine44, and much love, be balanced, be whole, always.